It's the Poker News Podcast.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Poker News Podcast, episode 840. I'm Chad Holloway, joined by Connor Richards and Kyle Anderson. We are once again at Level 9 Studio in Las Vegas to talk the latest and greatest in the poker world, starting with this awesome live stream cash game that they had at Hustler Casino Live over the weekend. It was the Legends on the Felt with such superstars as Neymar. I mean, that's probably the premier name, but Ninja was there. Dan Bilzerian jumped in there. Alan Keating, Chris Eubank, Jimmy Butler, Ryan Garcia, the boxer, John Vlogs, Velasco, and I think a couple other people jumped in here or there. Gentlemen, did you watch this game?
Yeah, I did watch this game, and I think all of us at Poker News, this is one of those where we're at the World Series of Poker. That's obviously our priority, but I think all of us have a tab open and we're watching the stream, whether it's on mute or whatever, because it's just too entertaining. I mean, this lineup was crazy. You know, I'm not a massive sports fan, but I love the NBA, so seeing Jimmy Butler was really cool. And Dan Bilzerian is a personal idol of mine. I look up to him in every aspect of life, so seeing him on the poker felt was really just a dream come true.
Yeah, Kyle, did you watch it as well?
I did. It was wild, man. It reminded me of my home game with my buddies and everything, except they were playing the stakes they were playing, and I'm pretty sure that meant less to them than our 25, 50 cent home games and everything with all the games and the runouts they were doing. But man, it was entertaining. You have some of the biggest names in sports and just in general, and they were, I don't know if competing is the right word, but they were playing some form of poker, and it was very entertaining.
Yeah, I got a kick out of it. So I was laid up this weekend, and I actually got to just sit at home, watch this game while sweating the Poker News Live updates from the World Series of Poker. And I thought it was a fun broadcast. Obviously, the lineup is amazing. Kudos to, I think, Alan Keating really helped pull this together, but then to Ryan Feldman and Nick Vertucci to pull this off at the Hustler Casino Live. As Ryan Feldman had tweeted earlier in the day, like, all right, this is happening. Everybody's confirmed. But being confirmed is one thing. Actually getting them there on time and starting is another. It's not an easy feat to pull off. I mean, I have a hard enough time getting Kina and Mike here in the podcast studio sometimes.
Clearly.
As you can see. But so to pull it off in the first place, I think is awesome. And then, like you said, Kyle, the feel was like a home game atmosphere. They were joking. They were drinking. They were eating foods. They were rubbing it into each other's faces here or there. And then to top it all off, there were some actually interesting hands. Before we show one, I want to say one of the things I appreciated most about this stream compared to a lot of others is the pace of play. Like, I would look down and a new hand was already happening. Like, they weren't taking their time. There was hardly any tanking, which I thought was really cool. One of the big hands that happened, maybe one of the hands of the stream, was Jimmy Butler versus Neymar, in which we have, two sports stars from their respective sports, basketball and soccer or football. And Neymar has, I think it was King 4, and flops trip 4s on a 4-4-5 board, and the money gets in, and Jimmy Butler had a little surprise. Let's show that clip right here.
Game where if you have a good hand and you blast, you're going to do okay.
You don't have to look while he's doing the microphone. One thing at a time. Cool. Mm-hmm.
2,000. Cool.
Small raise?
Small raise.
2,000. We're in for 2K.
Trying to make a flush.
Me too.
Action, really?
We both.
Keating picking up a ton of action.
All day.
It looks like the players are really here to gamble as the night goes on. Neymar. Trip 4s. We don't see Butler's hand, but he's donking into this pot. I believe Jimmy's the type of player that he tends to be rather snug, so if he's betting here, I assume he has a pretty good hand. Velasco gets out of the way.
Straight up. Got it. Huh? He's just got it.
Who?
What does Butler have?
Why not?
9 on the turn. Reaching. Another wager. Looks like 4K. Make that 5.
With this all night.
Butler, what you got?
All night.
I really want to kick this up. Yes.
Raise 10,000.
Min raise.
We ready.
Oh, hello.
Come get you some.
Whoa. All of it. And let's go. Let's dance, boys. 174,000, and these two have been going back and forth. King 4. He says one time.
Okay.
He wants to bury his boy.
I love you, my boy.
5s full. Oh no, Neymar.
Just the 4.
You hit a 4. This casino better call a fucking fire.
84. 84. Move. Ooh.
174,000. 5s full versus Neymar's King 4. Ultimate cooler here. Jimmy Buckets says, I love you, my boy, as he felt him.
His strategy is solid.
Double up.
When you get a good hand, yeah, go off a good scratch. That's a monster. Nothing wrong with that.
How do you fucking lay that down ever? Never.
One time his ass.
Jimmy Butler.
I'm never. I would be up $150,000 right now if I did one time.
When you put it like.
I lost 3 all-ins because of split.
You knew once.
I know. I did, and it won me the one time I did it. But I went like shit.
Jimmy Buckets.
All right, so there you have it. I mean, pocket 5s. I thought that might be the case when like these guys didn't have the best poker faces. Yeah. When they had a hand, they weren't quite smiling, but they were giving off all the classic tells, if you will. What did you guys make of that hand where Jimmy Butler just boom boom pocket 5s, flops the full house?
Well, it's interesting because when you're watching it on stream, you can see one of their hands, but you can't see the pocket 5s. So you see that Neymar has the King 4. It's pretty sick. He flops trips and then also has the flush draw. So really one you can't get away from. But of course, he could also be drawing dead or drawing close to dead. And then we learned that, his opponent, Jimmy Butler, does indeed have those pocket 5s. So it was kind of fun to sweat the action, not knowing his hand. But just one of those situations that sucks, especially in these cash game streams. You never really know what people are going to show up with. So, trip 4s in that instance is a pretty strong hand, but he just ran into it there. Pretty unlucky.
Yeah, it ended up being a $174,000 pot and ultimately led to Jimmy Butler. He was the second biggest winner in this game, profited $123,000. I think that's pretty cool news. An NBA star winning $123K on a poker live stream.
It might just be a rounding error for him in the end, that amount of money. But my live reads, I wouldn't say are the most accurate, but kind of like you were saying, Connor, we didn't know what Jimmy Butler had. If Neymar hadn't had the other 4, I would have bet every dollar to my name that Jimmy had quad 4s. Just the way he was moving and acting and everything. He was playing a little bit on the tighter side, but everything screamed he had something, and he did. And that was fun. 2 legends of their sport going at it. It was entertaining.
I think it was kind of those tells, if you will, that were helping Alan Keating and Dan Bilzerian, who is one of the more experienced players at this particular game, right? They were crushing for most of the day, right? They were just taking the money from these guys here and there. At one point, Bilzerian was the big winner. He was up almost 200K. Ultimately, didn't end up with that, as we'll get to here when we show the results later. But 2 others that were in the game, 2 big names that I thought were fun, were Ninja, who, of course, is an iGaming legend. He's played on the Hustler Casino live stream before with Phil Hellmuth. And then you had Neymar, Ryan Garcia, who has also played on the Hustler Casino Live. And he, a famous boxer, now banned, I think, for a year for failing to test. Interesting guys, both of them. Yep. They actually had this big hand that we'll show here in a second. But basically, Ninja just pulls a Sean Deeb and slow rolls the shit out of Garcia, who had flopped 2 pair. Ninja flopped a straight, and then they get into the smack. I don't know, is it smack talk? It was like sexual talk too.
It was sexual.
There were some comments. Yeah,
let's just show that clip right here.
I mean, I barely have anything left, so
No fucking lessons, okay? You work your side of the street, I'll work. Fucking Eubank giving out free poker lessons over here.
I got him once when we were playing like this.
I believe it. Eubanks can't play with their shit.
He was bluffing crazy, and I checked him on the last card.
Sounds about
He
right.
shoved it all in.
I feel like I can't let him win.
Sounds about Eubanks.
Here we go again. Shit. Here we go again.
Shit.
Ain't no way.
Ain't no way.
Ninja with the
I can't keep
way
that going.
best of it.
I don't fucking do, bro. I'll raise 3,000. So just double it.
Ooh, the men.
This money might go all in. Here we go. All in. Snap.
Dead ass.
He's slow rolling him. He's slow rolling him.
I'm gonna start twerking.
Garcia's dancing. Ninja.
Hey, can you put the all-in thing by him?
Oh my God, he's
Okay,
slow
great.
rolling him.
I call.
What do you have?
Once, because I got the fucking nuts.
I need a 6 or a 4.
Oh my God.
He slow rolled Garcia.
Hey, I don't have a bad hand. Cause the 6, fuck could come.
If you fuck me, I expect to reach around in the back.
What?
I got you.
I'll tell you. So 6-4, the only way you win.
Wait. Low key, what did he just say?
Yeah, no shit.
Come on, dude.
Reach around the back if you fuck
Bet.
him?
Just give me my shit.
6 or 4.
Tawny, don't fuck with me. My heart is like out of my chest right now. If you don't mind, just help me out here.
You want me to just pay you now?
Under the table's good.
Hey, that's cool.
What is going on with this reach around the back?
I thought we ran.
Hell no, bro. Fuck that shit. I said once, man. I'm trying to win my shit.
Manly shit, bro.
One time.
It's gonna get dirty now.
I'm trying. Like it wasn't already dirty.
No, it's gonna get dirty. I'm talking about.
I'm trying to get that hot toy. You know what I'm
I'm
saying,
talking
bro?
about homo.
There you go. Whoa.
You haven't seen the meme?
You see what we got into?
Yeah. You seen the meme? I have seen it. You gotta give it that hot toy. Spit on that thing. You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
How much?
I'm a little happy.
I'm in the wrong team. 14.
All right, so there you have it. The flop straight holds. Ninja gets that slow roll, but like, I don't know, these guys going to go in the back room and have a little off the felt fun or what?
Well, apparently not, because, Ninja's hand held up, but he did say, that he, some talk of a backroom reach around. So it's fun to see some banter like that. I think Ninja also brought that in the game a couple years ago when he played against Phil Hellmuth. He was kind of making the same comments, and I don't know, we need more of that. It's lighthearted, it's fun, and those guys looked like they were having a good time.
Yeah.
The slow roll couldn't have happened to the person executing the slow roll couldn't have happened to a more entertaining person. I know if anyone has watched Ninja, he's kind of like trolling personality and everything. And just the fact that he was able to slow roll like a professional boxer was kind of just like perfectly scripted in a sense that how it could happen. And that was very fun to see.
This was really, I've heard about Ryan Garcia. I haven't watched him on the streams before. I know he plays, but this was my first taste of who he is and his type of personality, I guess. And I don't know what to make of it, right? He's obviously a very polarizing figure in the world of boxing, has some very strong political views, but just his antics at the table a little bit, like he orders a big tequila or something and just downs half of it. He was there having fun. I have no problem with that aspect of it, but it was just one of those weird, like, I don't know, like here's a young guy, loves poker, obviously has a lot of money, maybe a little on the immature side, at least from my perspective. I don't know. What do you guys think of Ryan Garcia?
I thought he was good for the game, and you mentioned he is a little bit controversial. There was a while back where he was getting into it with another fighter who's also a poker player, Bryce Hall, and that created some big controversy. But, I think it's good for the game. It draws eyeballs, and, he even got slow rolled by Ninja, and he didn't go beat him up or anything like that, so he can take a joke. I will just say quickly, when I said Dan Bilzerian was my hero, that was just a joke. I don't know if that came across. Probably not, but I just wanted to say that for the record, that's just me being ironic. But yeah, I do think that this was really entertaining, and Ryan Garcia was a big part of that.
He's wild, man. Like on social media and like I watch a lot of UFC MMA. To be in the combat sports business, you kind of have to be a little on the wilder side. This guy kind of takes it to a whole new level. He's not someone I would want to watch every week on Hustler Casino Live, but in these off instances, it was fun. He added a lot to the game.
Well, speaking of UFC, like one of the things I do give Ryan Garcia credit for was, so he busts the tournament till your hero, Bilzerian, right? And he says to him, and I even tweeted and messaged John this right away. He says to Bilzerian, he's like, I'm glad, if I lost all my money, I'm glad you got it because you've got a lot of girls and I do too, or something along those lines. And so he was a good sport. You know, he was having fun. He knew how to take a joke in the bad beats. And then he gives a post-elimination interview to Nick Vertucci, in which I got to give Nick some credit, right? I've interviewed a lot of people, and he was very good at interviewing and getting Garcia to say certain things, following up on certain things. I really appreciated that. And during that interview, he said that, you know, he wants to go into the UFC. Hey, Dana White, give me a call. Could we see Ryan Garcia in the UFC?
We could. He could.
Should we?
That's another question. I would watch it. I think it would be entertaining. I'm an old man who yells at clouds when it comes to like boxing and UFC in that way. I don't think he would stand much of a chance, but I would watch it. I would be excited for it. And sure, why not? Yeah, there was talk of Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg, so let's just throw everything on the table. Why not?
Well, Ryan Garcia ended up being the second biggest loser in the game, losing $85,900. But you know, he bowed out fairly early. He said he was, I don't know if he was being serious or not, he said he was going to go do stand-up for the first time at the Laugh Factory or whatever it was there in LA. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if I can picture it in my brain, but who knows? Maybe it was. So let's talk about arguably the best part of the stream, right? And it was already a great stream, very entertaining, lots of big hands, but they saved the best for the last because there was this hand right at the end. The game was getting ready to break. And the title of the article that John Sofin wrote is this one of the most absurd poker hands you've ever seen? And I got to say, it kind of is. The hand in itself is pretty long. We're going to show a little clip from the beginning and then towards the end. But basically what happens is I think it was Alan Keating. He's on the button with ace of diamonds, 4 of diamonds. A bunch of people see a flop of 9 of diamonds, deuce of clubs, queen of diamonds. So Keating flops the nut flush. And Neymar has 9 of clubs, 5 of hearts. So just middle pair. And somehow they get the money in. It was Keating who jammed, and Neymar calls for almost $75,000, right? So then they decide to run the river twice. First one's a diamond. That's going Keating's way, half the pot. The second was a 5, gives Neymar 2 pair. He gets the other half the pot. That should be the end of the hand, right? Mm-hmm. Nothing too exciting. But then Keating says, you want to run it one more time for, I don't know, $75K, $50K, whatever it was on the side. And they did. And Neymar wins. Keating says, you want to do it again and again and again and again. They ended up running the river 8 times. So the first 2 that they agreed to in 6 more flips, during which time Neymar just kept winning, much to the delight of the Brazilian viewers and those that were in the chat. And so we got a little clip of how the hand kind of started and then the very last sweat for Keating's last $75,000. Let's take a look.
He hold on. Keating sends it. Says all your chips, Neymar.
This aggression, it's got to come to an end.
Oh, he calls! Neymar! Borra!
Jack 10?
No. Can it hold?
Okay, that's not good, because that means the other card's a pair.
Okay. Brazil.
Twice.
Stand up. 200K pot for your boy.
Flush draw.
Borra.
9.
Called him with a 9.
Oh my God.
Brazil, where you at?
Easy call. No, just kidding.
Can it hold? No, diamond for Keating. Oh no, not again. No.
Wait. You want to do it for one more card for 50? One more card? Go ahead, burn and turn.
One more card for 50.
50?
100K on the side for one card? This is sick.
Let's go. Black.
Borra.
Black goes only for this last card, correct? Okay.
One card for 100K on the side.
Black. Yeah.
Wait, hold on. We're not done yet. We have not stopped negotiating.
Here we go. Players on their feet.
Diamonds! Give diamonds. Diamond.
All right.
Diamonds.
Keating is all in. Neymar, Brazil, Borra.
Actually, can I just look on the
diamonds.
side?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Did you muck or burn already?
No, I haven't burned. I haven't done.
Okay, burn it and toss it over here. I'll get it like slow.
Here we go.
I'm gonna move all these out.
The sweat.
Diamonds.
Burn and give it to me face down.
And then I'm gonna give it
5 diamonds. Put 5 diamonds.
Don't put it there. Then the TV can see it.
Here we go. We're going to sweat with Keating. Let's
We were
sweat
better
this
friends
together,
before
chat.
this started. Now we're gonna have to renegotiate our friendship
Look at Bertucci.
from a new position.
No.
Yeah, Lord.
That's some serious pitching, bro. We can't see nothing.
Ooh, black.
Oh my God.
No, 10.
It's a black, but I think it's a no side. Hold on.
It's 10 or 9. No? No.
Oh my God, it's a 4 side.
6, 7. 10.
Oh my.
No have diamonds.
All right, last one for $25.
And the flip god.
Yeah.
Neymar is the flip god. Brazil. He stacked Keating in flips.
Well, fucking hell, Neymar, nice job.
Yeah, that's it.
Another river card. Another river card. Another river card.
27,000.
100K or more on the side per river. And Neymar buries Alan Keating.
All right, so there you have it. That was pretty wild. So Alan Keating goes from up big, the big winner in the game, to losing everything. He ends up down in the game $478,850, almost $500,000. Whereas Neymar, all of a sudden, they went to the big winner, $306,000 profit. We already mentioned Jimmy Butler was second with $122,850. Velasco, $75,000. Eubank, almost $75,000. John Vlog, $71,000. Bill Zarian ended up with just $24,000 after being up a lot. And Brazil, God, almost $14,000. Guys, what do you make of that hand with Alan Keating and Neymar?
Yeah, no, that was, I mean, when you mentioned John Sofin's headline that is this the most absurd poker hand you've ever seen, I want to go back in the archives and see how many articles John's written with that headline. But this one actually might justify that headline because it really was insane. I've never seen a hand with that many river cards, and I don't know where all the diamonds in the deck went, but somehow Keating just bricks it every time. He's such a class act, you know, he maintains his composure. He doesn't seem to ever tilt. And just hearing Neymar yell black was just a lot of fun. So definitely one of the most absurd poker hands I've seen.
Again, man, just home game vibes with these guys. And to see Neymar be that passionate about, he's obviously been in poker, obviously, aside from playing soccer, he's been in the world for a lot. And just being able to, the money, again, means absolutely nothing to this man, but just the competition, the winning and everything. Again. He won like, what, 6 of 7, I think it was. Again, where's the diamonds? But it was just fun to see the passion that he had. And it was very much home game vibes. And I think that's why a lot of us tuned in and stayed on the broadcast.
Yeah, I think this hand from Hustler Casino Live, Legends of the Felt, between Neymar and Alan Keating, where they run it 8 times on the river, is going to be a nominee for Hand of the Year come the next Global Poker Awards. Just insane on many levels, but I think one of the things I love most about it is, yeah, well, we're talking about it here. It made headlines here in the U.S. I can only imagine the headlines it's making back in Brazil. Like, Neymar is a god of sorts in Brazil. And so it's already a great poker scene down in Brazil. And to have this hand, you know they're talking about it, that they were cheering and celebrating it. This is one that's going to go down in lore in Brazilian poker, no doubt. So I don't know if we'll see Neymar at the World Series of Poker. I know he's made appearances in the past. I hope he jumps over here because it's always exciting. But we'll have to wait and see. But that hand was awesome. And as for Keating, I'm going to give him props. I like Keating a lot already. I just love that he's willing to give that action. Not only give it, like he wanted it. He was the one fueling it, right? But I think it's just great. Like it wasn't Keating just pure degenning, right? Mm-hmm. It was Keating being very strategic and coy, right? He put together this game. He balances these lineups. He's friends with these guys, and he wants to remain on the good side of superstars like Neymar and Ninja and Dan Bilzerian, right? And so if you're gonna be on their good side. What's $350,000 to a guy like Keating, who's used to playing so much, right? If it's going to buy you goodwill for years to come, maybe get you in other games. So like, I take my hat off to him in that regard. Pretty brilliant move, and I think he would have just kept going if it was the other way around and Neymar was losing and Keating was winning. I'm sure Keating would have found a way to try to give him, the money back. That's just my opinion. I don't know, but Keating is a very intelligent guy. All right, well. Ultimately, as I said, the big winner in the game was Neymar, $306,000. The big loser, Keating, almost $500,000. But all in all, I thought it was a good game, a fun stream. Definitely lived up to the moniker of legends on the felt. And I hope they do something like this in the future. If you had to pick somebody who is tangentially associated with the poker world, right? Like I would love to see Dan Marino played poker, but I've never seen or heard of him playing poker. So I'm not going to choose him. If you had to choose some sort of sports star, movie star, celebrity to play in a lineup like this, who might you choose for another Hustler Casino live stream?
Well, kind of being realistic and sticking with people who might actually do this or who are interested in poker, I'd say DJ Khaled. He has done some other poker things. He did a big celebrity thing with Global Poker. PokerNews did some content down at his house, and he's a super entertaining guy. He has a big following. I don't know how seriously he takes poker, but I think seeing him over there in the Hustler Casino Live studio would be really cool. So yeah, I'll say DJ Khaled.
What about you, Kyle? You got anybody that comes to mind?
I do, and I don't know when the last time we saw him was, but Matt Damon. When has he played poker again? To see him back, especially, I think that would just be amazing. And you also reminded me of the celebrity challenge we did for Global Poker. I had an interview with Karl Anthony Towns.
Oh, yeah.
He is passionate, man. He is passionate. He was just taking in the game. I think he busted 6th or 5th in the celebrity challenge, but he wanted to stay on the broadcast. He wanted to see how the game went. He was interested in the hands and everything. So I think Karl Anthony Towns or the return of Matt Damon, I think would be good.
Good one. Yeah, those are some good choices. We'll have to wait and see. I'm sure Feldman and Vertucci have something up their sleeve. They never rest long when it comes to the Hustler Casino Live. We had the $1 million cash game right before the WSOP started. We have the legends on the felt during the WSOP. Maybe they'll have something big towards the end of the summer. We'll have to wait and see. Let's shift gears, though, to the World Series of Poker because that's what we're here for, right? That's why we're in Las Vegas all summer long. We are about midway through, a little more than midway through at this point. It's a very exciting time. The 250K just wrapped up, which we're going to talk about. The 50K Poker Players Championship is underway. Day 2 is happening right now as we're sitting here. We're going to get into that, but let's talk some WSOP bracelet winners. I love to see this one. He's been a favorite of mine for years, long overdue for a bracelet, and finally got it. I'm talking about Big Huni, Chris Hunichen, taking down the 100K high roller for $2.8 million, defeating Jeremy Osmus heads up, Victor Blom, 3rd place, Chance Corneth in 4th. Big Huni has been around for a very long time. He's always been a great guy to me. The sort of guy you just walk, he comes up to you, says hello, takes time out of his day, has an epic 4th of July party in Las Vegas every year. That's coming up here in less than 2 weeks. Should be a lot of fun. And just a lot of backstory. He's come close to a bracelet on so many occasions. Last summer, his father unfortunately passed away while he was here at the World Series of Poker grinding. Really took a devastating toll on him. And so he came back this summer and wanted to put in a full grind and do something for his dad. And here he did, winning one of the most prestigious events of the summer. Connor, you actually wrote the recap, and were you there reporting this one?
I was there reporting this one. I was here the full way through, and so I remember Huni building up a big stack on day 1. I can't remember where he ended on day 2, but he was basically, in contention the whole entire time. And I got to say, for those of you who haven't watched this final table, go back and do so. It was actually insane. You mentioned Jeremy Osmus finished 2nd. I heard him talking afterwards in the 250K that he thinks in terms of runouts, this is the craziest final table he's ever played at. It seemed like the worst hand won like 10 times, almost every single all-in. There were so many 2-outers, 3-outers. A big one for Big Huni was when he was all in with pocket 5s against Ace Jack, against Jeremy Osmus. I think this is when there were like 8 players left or something like that. He stays ahead on the flop. Osmus hits an 8 on the turn. It should be all over for Hunichen, but then he hits a miracle 5 on the river. He had a huge rail there. They all went crazy. So there were a lot of hands like that. Even the last hand, Jeremy Osmus had pocket jacks, and Huni had top pair on a 9-high board and ended up rivering a 3rd 9. So just crazy all the way through. And Hunichen was a lot of fun to talk to. And he goes on and finishes third in the 250K. So really just a career-defining summer for him. You mentioned that he's a really nice guy and a longtime grinder. And his dad had just passed away last year. So really just a great story. And yeah, a really fun one to cover for me.
We actually have a winner's interview from Big Huni after capturing his first bracelet. Here it is.
To 3 players here in the 100K high roller here at the World Series of Poker, and it's Chris Hunichen, Jeremy Osmus, and Victor Isildur Blom, all fighting for a chance at the top prize. As you can hear, it's been a pretty crazy final table, and there's a big rail here for Chris Hunichen. Let's see if he can take it down. Here in the 100K high roller at the World Series of Poker. But at the end of it all, Chris Hunichen, aka Big Huni, took it down for his first bracelet and $2.8 million. He had a ton of support from a massive rail, and there were a lot of big hands in this event, which I was able to talk to Big Huni about afterwards in a winner's interview. Okay, Chris, you have lots of experience at these super high roller final tables. Now that you've won your first bracelet, how are you feeling?
Amazing, amazing. I mean, I feel like you never know one's ever due in poker, but I felt like I was due. You know, I've been in this position a couple times, got unlucky, a couple seconds, like, it was my time.
It does seem like it was kind of meant to be. You had so many big hands there. There was the hand with pocket fives where Jeremy hit an ace on the turn, but then you rivered that 5. What sort of emotions were you feeling in that hand?
I mean, that was insane. I mean, I got it in earlier, ace-jack suited to his queen-jack, or ace-jack off to his queen-jack suited. Hit a straight for a huge spot. Would have gave me like 65% of the chips in play. So whenever he hit the ace, it kind of just felt like it was his day. Everything was starting to go his way. And then that bam, bam, magical river 5, place erupted. Now I had a little new life, you know, and we're back in the game.
Yeah, you had a huge rail here, probably one of the biggest of the WSOP so far. Who was here cheering you on today?
I mean, these are my boys, all my friends. My wife was able to show up after my kid's soccer camp. I mean, you know, these are all my homies. We live for this shit.
Do you think it helped you to have the support of them on the rail cheering you on today?
Oh, absolutely. They bring all that energy. Like, how can you not? I mean, every time I hit a card, you heard the place go crazy.
Yeah.
Plus, like, you know, it gets in the heads of the other guys a little bit. Like you said, everyone had bracelets. They're all experienced. You know, anything to kind of throw them a little off their game is a huge thing for me. So
this was a super experienced final table. You had Victor Blom, whose nickname, of course, is Isildur, and it sounded like your rail they started calling you Sauron. Think that's a nickname that's going to stick, maybe?
We'll see, man. I don't know. My buddy won a bracelet last year, and we started talking about Phil Helmy to dress like a Spice Girl. That stuck pretty good. That went viral, so we'll see what happens.
You have your big 4th of July party coming up. That's always a big deal. Now that you've won all this money, is this party going to be the best one yet?
Yeah, it better be. It better be. Otherwise, I failed at it. So we'll see what's up. If you ain't coming, you're missing out. That's all I said.
All right. Congrats, Chris. Thanks.
All right, there you go. Big Huni getting the job done, but he almost got the job done twice, right? Because you mentioned it, you alluded to it, Connor, the 250K super high roller. This tournament just wrapped up last night, and it was a big one, 75 entries, which I think is crazy. I honestly thought it was going to get like 30.
Yeah.
75 just blows my mind. $18,675,000 in the prize pool. And it was a very fun, entertaining final table. Jeremy Osmus was there, ultimately bowed out in 7th place. Taylor von Kriegenberg finished in 6th. A pretty sick hand that he lost, flopped a set of kings. And Ben Tollerine, who was just rolling over the final table, had like 70% of the chips at one point. Rivered a gut shot straight, got all those chips. And then it ultimately got down to Chris Hunichen, Ben Tollerine, and Santhosh Suvarna, who they had a good 3-way battle. Suvarna ended up eliminating Big Huni, so he did fall in 3rd place, but still, he won the 100K for $2.8 million. He finishes 3rd here for $2.4 million. I mean, that's $5.2 million week for Big Huni. Talk about
right ahead of his 4th of July party that you mentioned. I asked him, I said, hey, now that you won this, is this going to be the biggest one ever? He said, hey, it better be, or I failed. So I don't know, boys. We might have to get down there and go to this party.
It'd be fun. In because you're Canadian.
Yeah.
4th of July is a big deal.
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, we know you don't celebrate that, but
It ended up coming down to Ben Tollerine and Santhosh Suvarna, and it was a good back and forth heads-up battle. And for most of the final table, Ben Tollerine was in control, but Santhosh Suvarna caught fire heads up and ended up winning it for $5.4 million. It was his second WSOP bracelet. He previously won a $50K high roller at WSOP Europe. And Suvarna is a guy we've talked a lot about on this podcast before. He plays a lot of the high stakes tournaments, high stakes cash games. He was in high stakes poker, and from all accounts, is just a really nice guy. He had Nick Airball on his rail cheering him on. Kyle, what did you make of Santhosh Suvarna taking on this $250K?
I unfortunately wasn't able to watch too much of it, but I do know I have seen Santhosh play before, and he's just an easy guy to root for, man. Just a class act, nice guy. Crusher too on the felt. So just being able to see, I have to catch the highlights of it. But when I heard that he was able to come back from that, I was like, wait, really? That he was actually able to? So I'll definitely have to catch those highlights. But based off what I've seen and what everyone's saying, it couldn't have happened to a nicer guy.
We have a winner's interview from Santhosh Suvarna. Here it is.
We're at the winner's circle again. It was in Rostov at the end of 2023, and now in Las Vegas for your biggest ever bracelet win and biggest ever live cash.
No, I'm feeling very happy. Not top of the world, but top of the world is many players are there. But every day I'm learning. I'm doing very good I'm going deep every tournament. So I'm so happy now.
It's really fun. I mean, talk a lot with Santhosh, and he comes here to play the tournaments and try to win a bracelet. And I know, like, for him, he won a WSOP Europe bracelet, but he really wanted to, take down one here in the U.S. this summer. And it's so exciting for him to get it done. And yeah, just couldn't be more excited. He's like the nicest guy ever in poker. Just always happy, win or lose, and super classy. And yeah, just over the moon for him.
All right, congratulations to Suvarna getting that second bracelet and a huge score. Let's go over some of the other WSOP bracelet winners here from the past few days. Chris Vitch getting the job done in event number 48, which was a $1,000 PLO tournament. This was Vitch's third gold bracelet. Huge field, 2,212 entries. Takes it down for $262,000. Worth mentioning David Prosiak, who's having a good year, already captured a bracelet earlier this summer, took third for $126,000. There was also the $10,000 H.O.R.S.E Championship that Maksim Pisarenko, he's a 25K fantasy guy. He topped a big field, 181 players, defeated Mike Lea, heads up, Canadian guy. We were talking about him. I love Mike. He's become a family man. Doesn't play as much as he used to, but comes, plays here, finishes second for $266,000. Maksim Pisarenko out of Russia takes it down for almost $400,000. Others at that final table, Steve Zolotow, Benny Glazer, and Maria Ho. So pretty stacked final table there. Another one that I was particularly interested in was the Monster Stack. This was a big tournament, event number 38 on the schedule, 8,703 runners, $11.6 million in the prize pool. And I was interested in it because there was a guy at the final table, Aaron Johnson. He's out of Minnesota, MSPT crusher, I think MSPT Hall of Famer. Because I'm from Wisconsin, have worked for the MSPT, have known that Aaron Johnson is one of the best players in the Midwest for a long time. He's like a Josh Reichert. He's just waiting for that big breakthrough. Ultimately finishes second here, one spot shy from the bracelet, but still gets a career high $732,000. And ultimately it was Portugal's Pedro Neves who took that one down. That Monster Stack, right now as we're recording this, Millie Maker's happening. Monster Stack, a big turnout. What do you guys think about these, big fields that are happening? Are the numbers where you thought they would be, smaller, larger? What's your sense, Connor?
I would say probably larger. I haven't been paying as close of attention to the smaller buy and bigger field events, but sticking with the high rollers that we were just talking about, you mentioned that you thought the 250K would get 30 runners and it got 75. So the 250K surpassed last year and so did the 100K. And I think those tournaments are just getting insane numbers. I don't know if that's just showing that, but yeah, I don't know. I would say as far as definitely the high rollers, the numbers are, I can't believe how big they are. And yeah, it sounds like that's the case for some of the smaller buy-in events as well. I'm going to be playing the Colossus that's coming up, so I hope that that's another maybe record-breaking field because, yeah, that would be a fun one to run deep in.
I think it was evidence the numbers in event number 49, the $3,000 Freezeout no limit. So no reentries in this one. Still got 1,252 unique runners. That was almost $3.4 million prize pool and was won by Erlend Melsom out of Norway, defeating Nikolai Yusufov out of Bulgaria, $523,000 and a WSOP bracelet for that victory. We also had the event number 50, $10,000 Razz. This was a pretty interesting one in that the final table had some big names leading up to it. Daniel Negreanu, Phil Ivey, they both bowed out before the final table. But you did have Jared Blesnick, John Racner, Brandon Shaq Harris at another final table, Ren Lin finishing in third place, and ultimately it was George Alexander defeating Dmitry Urbanovich in heads-up play to win the bracelet, $282,000. It's been 15 years. I think I've made 9 final tables were the first words that George Alexander said when he celebrated his bracelet. So he's been in the game for a long time. From what I read about him, studies a lot of GTO theory and put it to work here. He had a great tweet afterwards as well, saying what this bracelet meant to him in terms of, in the past he suffered with, confidence issues and imposter syndrome and things like this, but that he tried his best here and got the job done, which I think is pretty cool. There was also event number 51, $1,500 Super Turbo Bounty. This was one of those one-day events, long days, 2,110 runners, $1.7 million prize pool. Peter Park takes it down for $240K. Spider-Man. That's
yeah,
Peter
exactly.
Parker. Yeah, Peter Parker. But he takes that one down. Another one was the $2,500 mixed triple draw event number 56, 371 runners. Kind of low there, but mixed triple draw, of course, is what, deuce to 7, ace to 5, and Badoogie. Would have been a fun one for me to play. Sounds like it would have been interesting, but that one, I think it was Sean Deeb and Chad Evesledge both went deep. These are guys who are always competing for Player of the Year in bracelets. Evesledge finished 4th, Sean Deeb in 6th, and ultimately it was Patrick Moulder defeating Ian Chan heads up for $177,000. And then one tournament that just wrapped up, event number 57, the $10,000 Super Turbo Bounty. This is the one that Phil Hellmuth won last year.
That's right.
And he made a deep run this one, right?
I think so.
Let me look at the payouts real quick. He's your buddy now, aren't you guys hanging out?
My buddy Phil, I was watching him, sweating him. Those structures are fun, man. Like, they're not the most skilled version of poker because you just get so shallow so quickly, but they are fun tournaments to watch and be in. I was hoping my buddy Phil would go back to back, but alas.
Ultimately finished in 15th place for $28,000.
That's a good run, yeah.
We had Ian Matakis, reigning WSOP Player of the Year, 11th place. Aaron Johnson, who I just talked about, and finished 2nd in that Monster Stack, finished in 9th in this one. Wow. Ludovic Geilich in 8th. Steve Buell, Wisconsin guy, in 6th. Michael Rocco, for the second time this summer, finished in 3rd place, this time for $282,000. Mm-hmm. And ultimately, it was Frank Funaro, defeating Shada Nakanishi out of Japan for the title, $612,000, and his second bracelet. His first was online. I've known Frank Funaro for a while, Frankie Funk. I've gotten to play with him in a WPT before. Nice young guy. He's one of those guys that right away, I knew, if I could bet money right now on a future that this guy's going to win a bracelet or win a WPT title or win something big, let me put this money down. Like, Connor, you've been around now for a few years. You kind of get a sense of these guys when you're reporting on them. You see their game and you're like, oh yeah, they just got what it takes.
He's definitely one of those guys who I have that with too. My first fall reporting the WSOP in 2021, I actually got to play Werewolf with him, which was a lot of fun. But right away, I could just tell, this is a young player who could be the next big player. I think of him similarly as Jesse Launis, as kind of the next really, really successful young player on the scene. He had the deep run in the WPT World Championship last December. You mentioned this is his second bracelet. His brother, I think his name is Nick, is also a crusher as well. So they might be the next, following in the Mizrahi brother footsteps, and we might see those brothers winning multiple bracelets. Yeah, another win for the good guys. It was really cool to see Frank take this down. Definitely well-deserved, and I'm sure we're going to be seeing him at a lot more final tables.
Yeah, another big winner was Yuri Dzivielevski out of Brazil. He won his 5th bracelet, the $3,000 9 game, and he's just one of those guys who, his name is always coming up. He went pretty high in the 25K fantasy draft. Just all around crusher. Did you guys have any thoughts on Yuri winning yet again?
He always comes up in the conversation of best looking and best dressed poker players. So I will just say that he's crushing in pretty much every area of life.
He's got a mustache, rocking that mustache. Really strong mustache game. All right, let's talk about one last winner, and that is Khang Pham winning his first bracelet and $677,000 in the Seniors Championship. 7,954 runners, huge field, and for $1,000, getting $677,000, defeat Mark Wolpert, heads up. You got a little taste. You were in Vegas during the seniors event. Any thoughts? Like, those hallways can get pretty crazy on the breaks.
It was definitely something to be a part of. I'm just glad there's so many seniors interested in still playing and being a part of the event and everything. So that was really cool to see. But interest is still very alive and well for that age group.
Congratulations. Super Seniors kicked off today as we're recording this. So it'll be interesting to see who can take that one down. All right, gentlemen, that is it for WSOP bracelet winners, but I want to give a quick update on the 25K fantasy draft. It's really a two-team race at this moment in time. Team Sternheimer is out in front, 746 points, but Team The Dinkers right behind, only 23 points behind, 723 points. Beyond that, Team Sepio is in third with 593 points. It's really tight. It's going back and forth. And it's only going to get tighter here with the 50K Poker Players Championship. That is a big one with a lot of the 25K fantasy players involved. There are no bracelets being awarded today as we record this, so I don't anticipate too much more movement until they make the money in the Millie Maker. It's one of those large no-limit hold'em fields, which will have a bonus. So if these guys can crack the top, whatever it is, 200, 100, they get major points. And this is really where it's going to be make or break in this league, if you ask me. As for the ODB Fantasy League, this is the $500 buy-in. You have Team VT4 out with 1,090 points, and 70 places are going to pay in that league. PokerNews has a team. The PokerNews Super Friends is what I deemed it. 737 points. We're currently in 82nd place. So we're not quite in the money, but we are flirting with it. And 82nd out of 709 teams. Oh. Not too bad.
Not bad, yeah.
We had, I was a big advocate for Big Huni because he told me before the WSOP, like, I'm going to grind hard, I'm going to grind a lot. And he kind of had that, that fire in him. And we've seen that as we've talked about on this show. So he's been our big performer. We also have Chance Kornuth and David Prosiak, who I mentioned.
That's a good team right there.
Kristen Foxton, Brad Rubin, Ian Matakis, Kevin Gearhart, Punat Punzri, and Matt Glantz rounded out. So we can just get some big runs by a couple of those. Who knows? We might be able to make the money. Have to wait and see. Speaking of making the money, gentlemen, do you want to do a little bet? Like this Poker Players Championship is happening right now. It's day 2. I suggest we make a winner's pick, but also make it so that it's a last longer. Okay. So whoever's player lasts the longest, we win, $10 from each other? Sure. Is that fair?
Bucked. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to make my first pick. I'll take the first pick. I am going to go with Gus Hansen.
Oh,
he made just a surprise entrance. Yeah. Like, where did Gus Hansen come from? We seen him on the rail at a final table a couple days ago. And then I seen him in Negreanu's vlog this morning where Negreanu was playing from the start and Gus Hansen's like, I might have to jump in. And then he jumps in and does decent, survives day 1, runs up a bit of a stack. So I'm just going old school. Gus Hansen, I like the thrill. I want to root for him. So that's going to be my pick. Connor?
Yeah, this is the same pick I made for a Poker News prediction article earlier, but I'm going with Matthew Ashton. And I'm actually curious how many people listening are familiar with him because he pretty much almost exclusively only plays the 50K PPC. He does play some other mixed game events, but if you go look at his Hendon Mob, most of his results are from this. He won it back in 2013, and he's final tabled it a bunch of times. On his Hendon Mob, his last 4 cashes, of those, 3 of those are in the PPC, 2 8th place finishes and a 3rd place finish. So this guy is pretty much an expert at this event specifically, and I would love to see him win his second title. As a second pick, I will just throw in there Jungle Man because he famously won it back-to-back in 2021 and 2022. And I also got to interview him for the Life Outside Poker podcast. That'll be an upcoming episode. So if he took it down, that'd be pretty interesting to see. I'll still go with Ashton, though.
All right, Kyle?
You know what? The run bad stops here. Daniel Negreanu will be taking it down. Edmonton Oilers will be winning tonight. Canada is going to have a big one. He will not be running into any more aces.
Nope.
He will not be getting drawn out on 7 streets. This is his time. Daniel Negreanu's taking it down.
He's long said that it is his favorite event of the year, so I know that would mean a lot for him to win the PPC. I do get excited for this one. This is a very prestigious tournament amongst players like Negreanu and the mixed game crew. This is one that you want on your poker resume. The Grinder is in there. Again, he's won it 3 times.
Yeah.
Brian Rast will not be winning it again. He was one of the people who was eliminated on day 1. Scott Seaver was also another early elimination that kind of surprised me. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. That will be a long one. And I guess probably be towards the final table during our next show. So we'll have to wait and see. Another tournament that we are looking forward to starts tomorrow. As we record this, as we release this, it will be today. And that is the event number 62, $600 PokerNews Deepstacks Championship. It'll be the first event I'm playing this summer outside the casino employee event. 1 re-entry, start with $30,000, 30,000 in chips rather, 40-minute levels on day 1, 1-hour levels on day 2. And this has been one that we've been feeding into all summer long via the daily deep stacks at the WSOP, people who have won their way via leaderboards and things like that. This is one I'm very excited about. Kyle, you too? You going to be firing this one?
Oh, so excited. The structure is excellent. People have had a lot of time with the daily deep stacks to get used to the structure, be able to 3-bet a lot and everything. It's such a good structure. I'm very much looking forward to winning it. So there we go.
Yeah. Connor, I know you don't get to play. You're going to get to play the Colossus, though, but you excited to see how this one plays out?
I am excited. Yeah, you said I don't get to play. It's because I'm going to be live reporting the PPC. So I guess there are worse things that I could be doing. I'm excited to work the PPC, so fine to miss this one. And hey, I'm going to have some pieces of action in this event, so I will be able to sweat it nonetheless. And so I am excited for it.
Well, we will have to do maybe a last longer, you, me, some other Poker News crew who are able to play it. And I think we'll put together some kind of swag bag. It's like a little bounty, right? Because we're like ambassadors. You are official Ontario ambassador. I do the show and whatnot. So you eliminate us, maybe you'll get a little prize. I'm coming ready to fire 2 bullets. Yeah, max 1 re-entry, but this is a tournament where it's like, even if you get in max late reg, you're still going to come in with plenty of chips.
Plenty to play with.
Let's see. It says max late reg, 75-minute dinner break, late reg, around 5 o'clock, 9 levels. So after level 9, so you would come in with 30,000 in chips at the 1,000, 1,500, 1,500 level. So that is 20 bigs.
You're
coming in,
and that's very last minute. You have plenty of time if you want to max late reg your second bullet or something. You got plenty of time.
I don't think I've ever had more than 20 bigs in a tournament, to be honest.
Well, this is going to be a fun one. Tune into PokerNews.com. You can follow all the 2024 World Series of Poker events in our live updates. You can also follow the 25K Fantasy Hub for updates on that. And we will be back every Tuesday and Friday, dropping new episodes at 8 a.m. Pacific time. I'm Chad Holloway, Connor Richards, Kyle Anderson. Until then, we'll keep a seat open for you.